I'm Richard Wilson. The name of my company is Norma's Jeans, and that's an obvious play on Marilyn Monroe's name, and I sell things that belong to famous people. This one is Jackie Kennedy's dress, circa 1951, right there. That's Woody Allen's sperm costume from the movie Everything You Want to Know About Sex But We're Afraid to Ask, and if you can see above there is a picture of him wearing it. This gorgeous item, I wish she was here to wear it, is Gina Davis's personal dress. You can picture her in it. And a particular favorite of mine is Dana Delaney, and one of my favorite television shows of all time was China Beach, which sadly went off the air, I believe it was in 1992. But I've met Dana several times, and these are her fatigues. That's a pair of her fatigues from China Beach. John Kennedy's long johns. A lot of publicity. Everyone wanted to hear about John Kennedy's long johns, and they said, "What are you going to do with them?" And I said, "I would probably display them with Marilyn Monroe's nightgown." So that's a work in progress. This here is Marilyn Monroe's bed jacket. Next best thing. It's a very rare item. This is a chair James Dean made for himself. Before he did his big 3 films, he did some minor films, and he was envious of the actors sitting up there with the chair with their name on the back, like it would say Tyrone Power or whatever. So Dean said, "I'm going to do my own director's chair." This is like a sort of a mesh type of seat. And he explained, he said, "I wanted that mesh seat because on the regular type of seat your butt sweats so much and there's nowhere for the sweat to go." Charlie Chaplin's bowler, one of many. You know, I'm sort of the guardian of some of these pieces of history, and I sell a lot of them, but some of them I keep. I'm a collector, and I make my living doing this. I work at it full time. So I feel very protective about some of the stuff. It's sort of, I'd call it a stewardship. You know, I'm responsible for making sure this stuff survives. I love it when it goes to a museum somewhere and is on display and thousands of people can see it. That's Seinfeld's American Express card, but not from the television commercials. It's his actual card. There's something really neat. Carte blanche, credit card, Senator Kennedy. Barbra Streisand Credit Card Service Bureau. Sammy Davis Jr.'s Hertz Rent-A-Car. Rock Hudson's Medical Emergency Card. This is neat. Frank Sinatra Fan Club 1946. Peter Lawford's membership card. That's Lucille Ball's Medicare card. Elvira's wig. Sandra Bullock's costume from Speed 2 Cruise Control.
This is Jamie Lee Curtis's check.
Yep. Elvis's racquetball racket.
Now tell us how would you get Jean Harlow's bra?
Got it from, remember I mentioned Gordon Bow, the makeup artist? He worked on Harlow in a lot of films and asked her for various mementos, and that was something that came from Gordon Bow.
So she literally just gave him the bra?
Yeah. It's, I think I've got it in the catalog for $900. Yeah.
That's kind of a bargain.
Yeah. So that stuff comes to me in just the oddest ways. The phone will ring and who knows what'll be on the other end of it. I think, here's a weird story for you. After I bought Kennedy's underwear, about 2 weeks later I got a call from a gentleman, and he says, "I noticed you bought Kennedy's underwear," because it was all over Associated Press and in Newsweek and CNN and all that. And he says, "I have something very unusual you might be interested in." And I said, "Tell me about it." He says, "Ted Kaczynski's cabin, the Unabomber's cabin." And I said, "Well, how did you come by that?" And he says, "Well, it's out of evidence, and I bought it, and it's sitting in California, and it's for sale." I said, "How much is it?" He says, $5,000, and you move it. And I said, "I appreciate your calling me, but that is much too dark and sinister a thing, and I don't really want to be involved with it, but thank you for calling me about it." And that was the end of the conversation. I don't want to have anything to do with that. Somebody else probably bought the cabin, and they say, "Look what I got in my backyard." It's all whatever turns you on. So. One of the real treasures among movie collectibles are the famous ruby slippers, okay? And here's a pair of the ruby slippers. These are Jack Ruby's bedroom slippers, as you can see. And I got them from Earl Ruby, his brother in Detroit, and I have a picture of Earl holding these bedroom slippers, and Earl signed the picture, and there's an authentication letter with them. So I like to tease people and tell them I have a pair of the ruby slippers. Unfortunately, they aren't from Dorothy and the Wizard of Oz, but they are ruby slippers. Rex Harrison's toupee. Let's go over this way.
We forgot something very important here.
Oh, sure. Monroe's panties, and those are called tap panties, and they're vintage 40s.
So those are Marilyn Monroe's panties?
Yep, and I have them for sale.
How much?
$4,500. I get an incredible amount of joy from it, and it's a challenge because what you're looking for is one-of-a-kind stuff, and you get hooked on it, and it becomes a real challenge. And a point I'd really like to make is when the public picks up a paper and they say, well, let's see, the ruby slippers sold for $500,000 and the Oscar sold for $500,000. This is true, but you do not have to be a millionaire to be in this hobby. I have a lot of things in my catalog that are, you know, $40, $50, $60. Little things that might have belonged to Lucille Ball or Natalie Wood or whatever. Everything is not thousands or tens of thousands or $500,000. I just like to encourage people to get involved in it because it's so much fun and it's so challenging finding one-of-a-kind thing.
That's great. Thank you, Richard. You got enough, or you want to do more stuff? Or what? I think we got plenty.